2000. I joined Wose in 95. I think I came to the school around 2000, 2001. So I was only a piece of that, the story of Ile Omode. I want to share that we are, in fact, builders. That's what we do. You know, we are not consumers. And we got to remind ourselves that we don't just consume stuff, that we create. And so many times the burden that we have is between the thing that's nice, easy, and ready, available, the microwave piece, versus the homemade piece. And homemade is always much better. It always tastes better. It feels better, but it just takes so much work. So our task is to accept the work before us to build for eternity, we say. So having that in mind, I want to remind our young people here that you, in fact, served as builders. When we got here, the first class we had a number of people came to the school when I came here with my family. And one of the first classes was Bakari and Rita were in kindergarten together with Mom. Who was your teacher back then? If you remember, this is a Ile Omode quiz now. Who was your teacher? Where's Rita at? Who was your first kindergarten teacher? Drawing blank. Starts with an H. Starts with an H. Thank you very much. See, parents remember. Oh, they got a whole line of teachers. So they came here together, and as the school progressed, we were able to bring in more people. And one day, we were in a second grade class. It was first and second grade class. Now, for everybody, who was your teacher then? Starts with a Z. Thank you very much. I'm always offended because I always say, that was my favorite teacher. She was nice. And it was that class, because at that time, when I talk about the flow and the ebb and flow of a school, of institution, sometimes things rise and sometimes they go down. It doesn't stay the same. When I walked into Tuskegee's campus and saw the house that Booker T. Washington resided in, and we passed by and paid honor to his gravesite, as well as George Washington Carver. Tuskegee had its heyday, and it had periods where it had fallen and had to rise back up again. I was at Morehouse and listened to the president. He talked about bringing more stuff there, recognizing that the school was not as strong as it needed to be. So there's ebbs and flows. At Ile Omode, when I took over, Mr. Magliese always come up and say, when he had a presentation about something, he would talk about the school, and he would say, our school is known, there's kids out there that they say can't learn, can't be taught, and they come here, and we help them to learn. And I said, after a while, that's okay, but recognize that's not our only story. Our story is the one about scholarship, taking kids who are striving to be the very best they can be, to compete on the global marketplace. That's really our story. And it took a little while for it to connect with him, because for a while, it had become a school. We certainly had bright folks, but it's also a little bit of an alternative school. It had fallen a little bit, right? And we had to come back in and build it back up again. And so I looked at this first, second grade class. There's about 12 kids in that class. It was Bakari, Noni's not here, Jaya, Rita, Amar, Noni was in that class. Marcus was in that class. There was only two boys, Marcus and Bakari. They was trying to had their own little boys groups, protect themselves against the 11 girls, the onslaught girls. But that class, to me, has so much power, I thought now was the time to make the move. And so it was that one class. Again, this was the first and second grade class, second grade students, many of whom were taught by that sister right there. Stand up for a second. You know who you are. Don't be shy. Give me some love. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's how many of us met at Mama Yai. Yeah. That's how I met Amar and Mama at Yai's place. I never knew them people before. But you figure if you're there, you must be a righteous black person. Yeah. So you're already connected. And so I saw this class, and I realized this class can take it to the next level. And that's when we began instituting this, next grade in math class. I said, second grade, they can handle third grade math. I know they can. Right? And then we looked around and said, some of them can handle fourth grade math. And so a few of them, everybody then was bumped up one grade. And a few were bumped up 2 grades in math. That's how it first began. Because we saw in those students the potential and the ability to do much more. And after that point, we said, well, could we pile on more stuff on them? How much more could they take? And so we accelerated our writing program. We brought in some advanced science pieces because we felt like they could handle it. And each and every time we did something, they responded in kind. They said, bring me more stuff. It was with that class that we instituted having, this is actually one of the first schools to have a one-to-one laptop program in the Bay Area. We started that years ago. And we didn't have a lot of money. We were on eBay looking for deals, right? That same group, we said, you know what? We should have a school. This is not a music magnet. It's not an arts academy. It's not that. But how come you can't be all these things? As our sixth graders showed you today. So we had to do music. So we threw instruments at them too. So there was so much on that going on, and I want to thank those kids, because if they couldn't have done it, we couldn't be where we are today. Because you just can't do stuff without having proof and evidence that it in fact works. So whenever I get a slightly discouraged from time to time and go, hey, maybe it's a little rough, I go up. Them kids did it. So y'all can too. So I want to thank those folks for stepping up. It was with them that later on, many years later, we said, you know what? We have tapped out middle school math. We had algebra in 6th grade, had geometry in 7th grade. I mean, at that point, there really is no middle school math left. We're in high school math now. But we figured, hey, let's just go to Laney College. So Bakity was the first one to go to Laney College. We had about 4 folks since then, and we just had, I think it was last Wednesday. Go on if I stand up. Who Kepper's upstairs getting ready to do something. But we had these these are our 8th graders now. They just finished up their first class, their intermediate algebra class at Laney. They both got A's. See, they don't realize this, but when you send your application over to, as GFI is waiting for, the MIT or the Howard or the Harvard or Stanford or UC Berkeley, and you slide in with that high school transcript, you slide in that Laney College transcript. It's a little impressive. So we want to thank them again. I want to remind them that for them that they, in fact, made what we do here possible. So they are writing, in fact, the history of Ile Omode right now. I want to remind them that when they move from this place, that they're going to continue to write the history of Ile Omode and their successes. So to not forget where you come from and who you're responsible and beholden to, which is this community. So I thank you very much. I want to call up each of our students individually, ask them to come and give us a few words about what their plans are. Because I'm going to tell you, this is the most exciting time in your life. They don't recognize this. This is exciting. This journey of going off someplace new and different and meeting new people. After that, it gets kind of boring. But the other one, it's all down here from here. That first day is exciting, but there you go. Now, this is, we're going to give them a scholarship. We started doing this last year with Adrian and Jelani. Adrian's at Sonoma State. Jelani's at DePaul. And we tried to, pull our funds together to make it possible. This is probably one of the few places that you're going to receive a scholarship and a contribution envelope at the same time. You like that? We going to give you money, and we going to expect some money. So now that I'm sure that many times in the last 6 months or so, you looked at your parents and said, but I'm grown. I'm an adult now. Fill in the blank, I can do whatever I want. So as an adult, you can give something back. So as an adult, you can now become a friend of Ile Omode. So when you're getting those big old fat financial aid checks and legacy scholarships and capstone and presidential scholarships, break us off a few dollars. It don't need to be a lot. We know you got your meal plan, but sitting in school, Bailey, $5 or so. You could do $10 because that hair is whipped, and I know it costs more than a few dollars. So you could give us a little bit of money. Now, when you graduate, we expect to add some zeros to that 5. And not 1 0 and no decimal places either. Y'all understand. So I want to call up Bailey Jones, who was a student here in 5th and 6th grade. Come on, Bailey Jones. She is now a student at St. Mary's for the next few weeks or so. Tell folks what you plan on doing in high school and what you plan on doing from here. What school you going to, what you want to study.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bailey Jones. I went to Ile Omode my 5th and 6th grade years. Ile Omode was really important to me just because I had never been to a school like this, and I still never have. When I first came here, I thought everybody was crazy because, learning math a year ahead, and Baba Boubacar was just, oh my goodness. He was really strict, and he gave us so much writing. I remember every night we used to just groan at 3 essays sometimes. It was just crazy. But I realized that when I went to the school after this, I went to Zion Lutheran, that I was so much more prepared than all the other kids. Like, we would be given essays that were only 5 pages and everybody else would be struggling, but I could knock it out so easily. And still, even now, I can easily write an essay in a couple of hours, and my writing has gotten so much better. After I graduate, I plan on going to Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia to study fashion design. So, yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's it.
And next, if I can have Bakari, come on up.
My name is Bakari. I'm a senior in high school right now at O'Dowd. I haven't really been outside of Ile Omode in terms of middle school and elementary school, so I can't really compare it anywhere. But I can say that it prepared me for high school a lot. I remember walking into my first English class at high school, and we had to read a book and annotate and get ready to write an essay, and I was like, oh, this is really pretty easy. And also in terms of math, like, it had already prepared me. I had taken Algebra 2 at Laney, got to O'Dowd, was in class, and I was like, I know like half of this stuff already. So it really prepared me for high school, and I can also say it really prepared me for college too. In the fall, I'm going to be at Howard University, and yeah, I'll be majoring in biology. So yeah.
For those that don't know, there's a Baba Shanga right here in our way. He has been the Howard University representative to Wose, and he has never missed a Sunday to make sure that Bakari knew that there was only one school for him in the whole world. The only Sunday he missed, he was at Howard's homecoming that weekend. Now I see Marcus Heron. As he's making this long walk up here, I'm glad to see Marcus. He had to stay awake. He had senior prom last night. And the initial word we were given was he may not be able to make it because he may not be available until later on in the afternoon on Sunday. And I thought, what is that brother doing all night? And can I go? No. That's a long breakfast.
Ile Omode made me like really different. I think when I came to high school, it's like everybody looked at me and I had like a different kind of attitude towards people. Like I feel like I was gonna be like better than most people. You come in with this kind of like confidence. Like most people really different and maybe like, oh, grades are cool and everything, but you know, I really want to do sports. But here we're like student athletes, and the student part was like the emphasis. So, and I'm going to Sonoma State University, and I'm going to study business.
And next up, the girl I've known since she was about 1. I was planning on doing a slideshow, but I got some cable issues. I'll probably post it on the web. But I have pictures of Amar when she wasn't a year yet. I think she was like 9 or 10 months old. So I'm going to call up Amar Lee Fowler. Come on up, girl.
Greetings. Ile Omode like gave me great study skills because like I remember during the week like just waking up my mom at 2 a.m. and just studying for like our math test that we would have every Friday because like Baba Jai he would announce our grades out loud, so like so like if you got like a bad grade, like everybody found out and the whole class would be like, ooh, you know. And you know, I used to be very sensitive, so like whenever I got a bad grade, like I would cry. So yeah, like I would wake up my mom at 2 a.m. and then like we would stop studying at 5 and then I would go to sleep. So it just gave me great study skills and I was very prepared for high school. Coming in, I noticed that like a lot of my classmates like didn't remember like the basic fundamentals of like Algebra 1. and I learned those in like 7th grade. So I just felt very, very honored and like very appreciated that like we were given the time and energy to like better our education. And in the fall, I plan on majoring in nursing and attending University of Central Arkansas. So.
Now I have personal favorites for schools, and one of my favorites is Tuskegee. And so I was hoping that somebody would go to Tuskegee this year. Somebody would go. It's like, man. But we went to Tuskegee last week. It was really nice. We were driving in the night before, and there was some issue with our tour guide that we had set up. And so I put a call on the brother Sidney, and I said, what's your daughter's phone number? Let me get her email address. And so I called up to Zenzele. She said, no problem. I'll meet you at the statue. And if you're at Tuskegee, you know the statue. And we met her there, and she gave us this beautiful hour-and-a-half tour of the entire campus. So it was just fantastic to have somebody at a school that you can tap into to give you a tour. So next up, I'm going to have Miss Rita Boyce. Now, Rita's one I was sad because she left. She was here in kindergarten through 5th grade. And when she left at 5th grade, we didn't have a middle school at that point. And I think if we had one more year, I could have got her here through 8th grade. So, come on, girl.
Hello, good morning. Ile Omode has taught me a lot, not just educational-wise, but also in learning to understand myself and learning to love myself and, you know, learning to respect my sisters. I remember in 2nd grade, I think Amar might remember this, that a lot of the girls had a lot of fights and there was a lot of disrespect, and Mom Zakia gave us a lot of tough love during that time, and we had a lot of we had to write and, you know, talk about our feelings and stuff like that, and why we were treating each other the way we were, and just making us come together as a community and as sisters. So Ile Omode has really, you know, ingrained that in me, and knowing that community is extremely important. And so I really thank you all for that. In the fall, I'll be going to Howard as well. Bakari. And I'll be studying international business.
Now, interestingly enough, there's a few folks that could make it who wanted to. One is Isis Fuller, and some of you know her mother, Mama Oya. She's at a wedding down in L.A. And then Nonia wasn't able to reach. And Rhea Blackshear, she had an orientation. She couldn't make it today, but she did send us some love. I did want to add that, interestingly enough, Isis is actually, she got a scholarship to Spelman she was notified about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but prior to that, Howard had given her a scholarship as well, and so she'll be going to Howard as well. So we have 3 folks from our school who'll be going to Howard University. So it should be a lot of fun there, I'd imagine. Yes. I'm going to have Brother Greg come up and present their award letters and different things.
All right. I'm going to ask Marcus and Bailey and Rita and Amar and Bakari to please join me here. Just come back up here. Give them another round of applause as they come. And the other thing we want to do is present you all with a book. Because, you know, you've been studying all kinds of books, and you may own this book already, but this is a copy of the Hosea. It is a book that I found very helpful in my life, and please give them another round of applause. And this would be a photo op. Yes. You get your photo, you get your pictures? Yes. Give me another round of applause. Okay. You hear from him first? Okay. All right. So I want to just share a few things. First of all, give all of the students who are in the room a round of applause from Ile Omode. Before our musicians come and present again, they can make themselves comfortable. You guys have a seat right up there somewhere. And I'm going to just take a few minutes. This is an honor. Just look around the room for a second and see who's here and witness this moment. This is special. Yeah. This is special. Because the story that is too often told of our people is trial and tribulation. What our children aren't doing. What our children are not good at. What our children lack. But the story, if somebody were here writing the story of today, you would see something, you would hear a different story. Ashe? You would hear a story of excellence. You would hear a story of doing our best. And just for a moment or two, I just want to share with our young people and everyone here a couple of ideas that come out of our tradition that we, as Brother Sidney said, that whenever we would get up, wherever the churches were, or the mosques even that we grew up in, there was a protocol. And we're hoping that our children are learning the protocol. And that protocol has to do with respect. That whenever you show up, you first give honor to God. Ashe. And what we've added to it now in our learning and who we are as African people, and we give honor to our ancestors. And we used to do this even if we didn't say it this way in those churches, and we give honor to the elders. Because what did you say? And to the pastor, and to the deacons, and the ushers. See, we think we lost our culture. We didn't lose it. We renamed it. We forgot a few things, and we're just filling in the holes, brother. We just filling in some gaps so that we can take it to the next millennium. Because that little bit of time in our history that we were enslaved does not define us. That little bit of time that we were sharecropping does not define us. That little bit of time that we were oppressed by Jim Crow does not define us. Our history is at least a 10,000-year history. And those things only happened in the last couple hundred years. It would be like if you defined your life based on what happened to you just yesterday. But you're not defining your life on what happened to you your whole life, and where you were born, and who your parents were, and who your great-grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents were. We can't define ourselves by that little bit of trial and tribulation. We can't define our children by the trouble that we face. We should define our children by the assets that they are. So I want to encourage you as young people, encourage us as adults, not to do your best, but be your best. There's a difference between doing and being. If you do, you have to think about it and plan it and take an action. But to be your best communicates to everybody in your immediate vicinity and communicates to people all over the world who you really are. You don't have to say anything. You have to show up and be your best. Our ancestors gave us some advice. And let me read this for it's two places in the Hosea, this translation of ancient African wisdom, two places that I want you to think about as you go on your next part of your journey as students. Your next part of your journey as members of our community. Ptahhotep, a great man, said, "Be not arrogant because of your knowledge. Take counsel with the ignorant as well as the wise. For the limits of knowledge in any field have never been set, and no one has reached them. Wisdom is rarer than emeralds, yet it is found among the ones who gather at the grindstones." One way you could say that is common sense is not common. Ashe. So be your best. And on page 59 of that same book of the Hosea, and I want you to, those of you who were gifted at Hosea, learn the book. Find what's in there. There's a lot of things in this book that can help you when you get to college, help you when you get to graduate school. As someone who, I have to just say this, and I don't talk about this too much, but I was educated formerly in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, in the public schools there, as well as in the church that I grew up in. Your education is not just where you go to school. It's like who you are associated with. Who are your people? Your education, for me, my education, I went to Northwestern University. received a BA in psychology, came to California, went to law school, received a JD, a Juris Doctorate, and allowed me to become a licensed lawyer here in California. But that's just part of my education. My real education comes from being in this community for the last 30 years. My real education is from me being in Bontebbo with Mama Titi Layo and being in the dance community with Mama Amara and, Mama Amara. Woo, Lord. Amara's mama. My education has come from interacting with people all over. I've been blessed to travel all over the world. Even in cold places like Moscow, I tried to learn something. I learned I didn't need to go back. But our ancestors, they said this too, and this goes to your preparation. It goes to your education. And it says this: the unrestrained person, the unrestrained man or woman is like a tree grown in unfertile ground. Its leaves wither quickly, and its unripe fruit falls to the earth. It reaches its end in the lumberyard or is floated from its place, and its burial cloth becomes a flame of fire. But the self-mastered man or woman, the self-mastered boy or girl, sets themselves apart. You're like a tree grown in fertile ground. It grows green and doubles its yield of fruit. It has its place in the eyes of its owner. Its fruit is sweet, its shade is pleasant, and its end is reached in the garden. Be your best. If you get a good education, it has at least 4 elements to it. And you can judge your education at Ile Omode by this, whatever school or college or university you go to, whatever trade program, wherever it is you go. Number 1, your education should help you construct an authentic identity. You should know who you are. You should know who you are, where you come from, and that is a lifelong quest. So this is for the grown folks, the not so grown folks. Because there's some older folks that ain't so grown. Ashe. Now, I ain't talking about nobody in here, but there's some grown folks acting like little kids because they don't know who they are. They're mimicking being European. I was in Jamaica a couple weeks ago, and we got folks in Jamaica, Ghana, and other places bleaching their skin. While black women and some men are bleaching their skin, white folks are trying to get a tan. So white folks trying to look like you, and you trying to look like them. But a good education helps you construct an authentic identity. That's the first piece. A good education should teach you as a person of African descent, and through the course of your life, if you live long as some of us have, we were born Negroes, became Afro-Americans, and colored was in there somewhere too, black, African Americans, and now folks are struggling to just say African. I'm going to just try this one time. Everybody just say African. It ain't hard. It's real easy to say I'm African. Now I'm a East Oakland African, or West Oakland African, Chicago African, Ethiopian African, Jamaica African, Chicago African, Pine Bluff African, Richmond African. You just an African. Because when the world that you're going to inherit, the 21st century world, is global. So identify yourself in a way that communicates where you sit on the globe. You're not giving up your Americanness, but you're going to be African because when people see you, they're going to say you black, you African. But a legacy of identity, who you are. And then the second piece is that legacy of excellence. Your people, if you identify as African or African American or American African, however you identify, you come from a people who believe in excellence. And it didn't matter what the task was. It might be cleaning up the bathroom, but you're supposed to clean it up excellently. Ashe? You might come up with a patent for a new invention. It's got to be excellent. I feel like I witnessed history at least 2 or 3 times this morning already, because when I saw young brother Mozzie Wyatt sit on that piano and be excellent through the darkness, I mean, a lot of musicians, we like kind of go give up because this boy, he like a 1 year. I took piano lessons with my father for like 10 years. I can't play none of that. But a legacy of excellence. Be the Mary McLeod Bethune. Be the Frederick Douglass. Be the Imhotep. Be the Queen Nzinga. Be the Hatshepsut. Be the Mama Jasiri. Be excellent. Ashe? Second piece. Your education should help you acquire an immunity from dis-ease. You should be immune from the things that you should know better about. There's certain things in life you should know better. Like, you don't just get in the car with anybody. Ashe? You don't run the bag across the street for somebody you don't know. Ashe. You don't smoke something that you don't know what's in it. Ashe. And some things you just don't need to smoke. Like, I just start with tobacco. Cigarettes, we clear on that. Now, other stuff you smoke, you know, there's going to be a big debate in your generation about what you smoke, how you smoke, where you smoke it, who grew it. If you was going to school in Colorado, you get to get free cannabis. Right? I mean, not free, but legal cannabis. It ain't free. My point is, you need to know what you put in your body. You need to know who you putting around your body. You need to know who you sleeping with. Ashe. Some of the freedom, I'm just real talk. Some of the freedom that goes with going to college is mom and them, they're not regulating quite as much. Although some mamas be going up to the campus and be like, wait a minute now. Ashe. But mama can't be there all the time. Daddy can't be there all the time. So you need to know who you with and who they been with. Ashe. It's real talk. But you need to acquire an immunity to dis-ease. Eat good food and you won't get sick as much. Eat breakfast every day. Use your meal plan, college students. Eat good food. Put good things in your body. Get exercise. Because, they call them love handles, but all it is fat, okay? Let's just be clear. And the older you get, the more you have to pay attention to this sort of thing. Ashe. The fourth piece. Develop a vision for the future. You're inheriting a world that is not perfect. You're going to be called upon in your chosen profession, whether it's fashion design or medicine or whatever it is that you're going to do well, but you have to imagine a world that you want to live in and then create it. You got to imagine something better for yourself, your family, your children, your community than what you're inheriting. I have a vision that my children's children will talk about black-on-black homicides as an artifact of the past. They'll be curious about it as a study for a dissertation. They'll be looking at, I just don't understand why black folks was killing black folks at the rate they were killing each other back in the day after the Klan, after Jim Crow, after all these things. It's going to be a topic of study, not something in the newspaper every day. That's the vision I have. Now, you may have a different vision. I have a vision for you as my children to be tri-global, to be not just bi-coastal, but global, that you feel comfortable going to Brazil and going through the bone. That you can go to Mexico and say, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás bien? That you can go to Senegal and say, Nagadef, what's up? And you can flow with all of that. Because your generation has the capacity to do that. But have your vision, not Baba Gregg's or Mama Jasiri, Baba Jahi. Have your vision for the future. And in all of it, be self-mastered. Master living, the art of living. Learn how to master certain things. Learn how to master the management of your money. Because the money that's coming in your hands, your grandparents and great-grandparents, they would not have seen these kind of resources. Many of them. Learn to manage your money. Learn to manage your emotions. Slow down your roll sometimes. Don't say the first thing that pops into your head. Think before you act. Think before you speak. Master yourself, and you will master all kinds of situations. So as I close this, I got 10 lessons. It's actually, I'm going to just say it like this. It's Baba Gregg's list of 10 things to do. All right. Number 1, get God. Get spirit. Get some understanding of that which is greater than you, known by many names and at all times in charge of the universe and every breath you take. Get God first, Ashe. Number 2, build family. The family you were born into might not be the family you were meant to stay in. There might be some dysfunction going on in your family that you need to step away from, but you still need to build family. Build family with somebody who loves you, who cares about you, and who's got your back. Ashe? And if it happens to be your birth family, so much the better. But you don't think about it. When we came out of chattel slavery in 1865, one of the number one things we was doing was trying to find family. We went out looking for people that had been sold away from the plantations. We were looking to find our mama and them and cousins and them. And when we couldn't find them, we made family with whoever we could find. Ashe? That's why some people ask me, they said when they, like Carolyn Hodge, somebody referenced Carolyn Hodge today. She teaches up at Country Constant. We used to live across the street from each other. And we tried to figure out where we related. And we just decided, well, we probably was on the same plantation. Well, we don't have nobody that we know in common, but we probably from the same plantation. So we just be family. Monroe's, we just going to be family like we was in Louisiana. Just family. My playground mama and them. So that's a term, art and them. Number 3, build community. When you get on campus, there are going to be people pulling at you in all kind of directions about what you can do and what you can be in. You could be in this Greek letter organization like Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. Or you could be, or you could be in the National Honor Society or Phi Beta Kappa, or whatever. But you're going to have a lot of choices. But whatever you do, build community with like-minded people. Get in a real practical thing. Get in a study group. A lot of black students show up on campus thinking, because you are smart, you are talented, but you think you can do it by yourself. I did it for 4 years at Northwestern. Big dummy. I ain't learned about study groups. I got to law school by necessity. Study group, you can bounce ideas off of people. If you miss a class, you get notes from somebody. You can ask each other questions, test each other before the exam. Get in a study group. Some of those people have turned out to be some of my best friends in life. Number 4, learn your history and culture and defend it. Learn your history and your culture as a person of African descent and defend it. There are going to be people trying to tell you about you. But be skilled. Know the game. Be better at that game than other folks. And you got plenty of examples. Number 5, be a steward of the natural environment. Go green. Go red, black, and green. Seriously. Because we the original environmentalists. We the original green folks. Number 6, do something to make your world better. Do something. Whatever big, small, do something to make your world better. Number 7, connect with your ancestors. Let them inspire you to do great things. Ashe. Number 8, be courteous. Please, thank you, excuse me, and I apologize. You ain't got to say I'm sorry, because that's a whole nother thing. It's like, no, you are sorry. That's how people come at you, right? But apologize when you're wrong. Be a big enough man or woman to say, I'm wrong. I messed up. Humbly, I beg your forgiveness. It'll take you a long way in life. Please, thank you, excuse me, and I apologize. Number 9, be a lifelong learner. Don't be arrogant because you learned a little something at Ile Omode. Be a lifelong learner. Challenge yourself. Keep building your brain. Keep making new connections. The brain is plastic. We used to think that the brain was formed and set by the time you were 14, 15 years old, but new brain science, like what Kumi Hodge, a Ile Omode alumni, and Stanford University alumni says in his studies, is that the brain can still be molded. You can undo bad connections in your brain. You can undo post-traumatic stress disorder. We're learning a lot about the brain. But be a lifelong learner. And last but not least, be your best. In every regard. In your spirit, be your best. In your physical body, be your best. In your material life, be your best. In your relationships to others, in relationships to God, just be what God created you to be. The very best. Don't ever let anybody tell you you are less than. that you can't do. You can have some college counselor gonna tell you, well, you weren't really made to be no doctor. Maybe you should think about being some. Don't go for the okie doke. That's like number 11. Don't go for the okie doke. And know, as you go out into the world, as our young people are coming in and under the direction the sister gonna play a little music, when you go out into the world, make us proud. Know that you represent us. When people ask you where you from, say I'm from Oakland, California, or if you're from some other place in the Bay Area. I'm from Ile Omode School. The Wose community has sent me out here in this world to be my best. Ashe.
Thank you. Just a very few words to conclude what's been a really wonderful, wonderful celebration of much achievement. And we have 3 representatives from the jazz classes here at Ile Omode. And these 3 people are Kukepper, stand up. Yeah. And Barry, and Nandi, and the other instructor you may already have met, Baba Damu. Thank you. And I am Sister Barbara, and we're going to play Mercy, Mercy, Mercy for you, and take a few solos, and our accompanist is Damus. And then we're going to close with Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Sister Barbara. I don't want to break the mood, but just real quick, we have a parent that needs to get out of the parking lot, and she's blocked in by a white Camry and a white Nissan. So I know you don't want to miss anything, but we need you to move your cars if you're driving a white Camry and a white Nissan. Thank you, Sister Barbara.
6, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, could everyone please remain standing as we close out the service? We want to say that in the spirit of those whose shoulders that we all stand on, that we are one people, with one aim, one destiny, one God, one love, one love, one love. Let's call on the name that our ancestors has called for a time immemorial. Let us all say, Amen. You are the most beautiful people on the face of this earth. Ashe.
And before we go, can we get one bow from musicians? And a big thanks to Sister Barbara for playing. Thank you, sister.
Announcements?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We have any announcements?
Any announcement?
Do we have any birthdays today? Any birthdays this week? I just want to let you know that casino night is Saturday, this Saturday coming. Parents, get your ticket money in. Won't say members, buy a ticket. We want to see everybody in the house. It's promising to be an excellent event. We're looking forward to seeing you.
In our community, celebrations continue to happen. So I want to inform you that today, a Senegalese restaurant called Bissap Baobab that was based in San Francisco is now opening up in Oakland. And they are having a free buffet from 11 already until 5. Details, look on the table over there and you'll get the address.